60 Minutes Overtime.
For this week's 60 Minutes, we talked to General Mark Milley, who stepped down last month as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. We spoke to him on the USS Constitution, the venerated naval frigate that was first launched in 1797, just months after George Washington stepped down as president. Nicknamed Old Ironsides, it is the oldest naval warship still afloat. As we sat on the deck surrounded by America's military past, we asked General Milley about its future. He told us that advanced technologies like robotics and artificial intelligence will rapidly change the character of war. And because every country will have access to these technologies, the U.S. must be prepared.
Our military is going to have to change if we are going to continue to be superior to every other military on earth. And it's through that degree of strength, that military strength, and the willingness to use it, that I think you maintain that international order and that you maintain the peace.
There have been several periods in history that have transformed military operations or armed warfare. Where does artificial intelligence sit in that?
That's huge. In fact, I've referred to it as the mother of all technology sort of thing. So the ability to make decisions, the so-called OODA loop, the observe, orient, direct, and act loop, to do that faster than your opponent, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes gives you a decisive advantage. So Napoleon would oftentimes wake up at 2 a.m. to issue his orders to his marshals, and they'd be on the move before the British woke up for tea. And you know, if you think about the German operational doctrine of blitzkrieg, that's what that did. So artificial intelligence allows you to absorb massive amounts of complex information very rapidly to assist humans in their decision making. And theoretically, you can actually program the computers to make the decisions themselves, which would be a whole new world at that point.
As of now, the Department of Defense guidelines say fully autonomous weapons systems must allow commanders and operators to exercise appropriate levels of human judgment over the use of force. Those standards will apply to a new defense program called Replicator, a Pentagon initiative aimed at countering the size of China's military. The program will produce thousands of autonomous weapons systems powered by artificial intelligence. The International Committee of the Red Cross says autonomous weapons, including those that use AI, could lead to unintended consequences like civilian casualties or an escalation of conflict. Does it make war more likely?
It could. It actually could. So artificial intelligence has a huge amount of legal, ethical, and moral implications that we're just beginning to start to come to grips with.
Well, there's no chain of command in artificial intelligence, is there?
Well, there might not be. Artificial intelligence, theoretically, taken to its extreme, machines could be making decisions without human interface. That could be a very, very dangerous thing, extremely dangerous. Right now, the Department of Defense standard is for all decision making to have a human in the loop, for better or worse. But other countries may not have that same sense. So artificial intelligence is extremely powerful. It's coming at us. I suspect it will be probably optimized for command and control of military operations within maybe 10 to 15 years max. And then you combine that with robotics. You're probably looking at something like a third of sophisticated militaries, the United States, Russia, China, etc. About maybe a third or 20% will likely be robotic in maybe 15 years or so. So you're going to go from, the USS Constitution, the ships of sail, up to the Nimitz aircraft carrier in the span of 15 years. So it's a pretty fundamental change that's about to take place.
All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out by saying, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great Muslim, my elder Heroine as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth, the sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Kanak Sa'an Banyan Charlotte from the Lions Den of Yashar Camp. This is another Lions Den um, news and prophecy, man. And you see it on the video clip that I played in the beginning, man. It says robotics and AI technology are literally changing the face or character of war. So what that means is like it's taking warfare to a totally different level, man. Right? A totally different level. Right? So with that being said, I want to get Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5 real quick, setting the tone. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Right? So now you had the escalations of warfare. You had sticks and stones at one point. Stones and sticks were turned into swords and shields, and then you had shields and swords and arrows and uh, fire, animals, all different types of things being used in warfare. Then you had the gunpowder. Then you had, modern day sword, which now is a gun. Then from that, he had grenades, bombs. And from that, he had missiles. And it keeps escalating and escalating all the way till it's going to have a breaking point. And that breaking point is going to be nuclear destruction, you know? So ultimately, that's what that means. That's the different transitions in war. And the end all tell all is going to be the 200 million missiles that hit America, man. And he's saying 10, 15 years, man. That they have that technology now. You know, they have all that technology, AI technology. That's somewhat what's running these drones. And they said that they got the Russia got a missile that's nuclear powered that runs off AI technology. I think it's the Avangard, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of them. Poseidon, one of them. Um, so we're witnessing the escalations of war. And who's doing this? This Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Mustering up the host of the battle. Creating these different types of um, um, weaponry. Having these individuals create these different types of weaponry ultimately for their destruction. All right. It says, this article says, unmanned United States Navy boat fires weapons in the Middle East. Next level. So now America's always always the one bringing in the next level of war. They always want to be the one. They started with the disease warfare. Um, they they introduced nuclear warfare. Now they're trying to have the one ups on everybody on introducing AI technology. But ultimately, it's going to lead them to their own destruction. It says an unmanned U.S. Navy vessel fired lethal munitions in international waters in the Middle East, marking the first time such an exercise has been carried out in the region. It says the exercise, dubbed Digital Talon, was carried out by the Navy's Task Force 59, a team focusing on unmanned and artificial intelligence. U.S. Naval Forces Central Command said in a news release on October 23rd, members of the task force identified and targeted simulated hostile forces using a method called manned-unmanned teaming. Officials said and launched live munitions from an unmanned vessel to destroy a target boat. The system successfully scored direct hits each time, the news release said. The firing was overseen by a human operator ashore who made the engagement decisions. A video shared by Navy showed an unmanned boat with two onboard motors zipping through the waves. The footage also showed naval operators monitoring the process from a remote location. Once the target is acquired, a missile is launched from what the Navy called a lethal miniature aerial missile system at the back of the unmanned boat. The video also showed the moment of successful impact. We are focused on operational application of new cutting-edge unmanned systems and artificial intelligence technology. So now this is becoming a coward's war. Cause Esau's frail, man. Esau can't really shake nothing with nobody, not on a hand-to-hand. So they gotta fight a coward's war. But ultimately, that's gonna lead them to their own destruction. Cause Yahweh Shemiel Shai is the one setting them up. This and it's like Lord willing, I'll show this video when I get through reading this article and these scriptures that I have. Oh, excuse me. All right, it says Brad Cooper in a news release, says Vice President Admiral Brad Cooper in a news release. During Digital Talon, we took a significant step forward and advanced our capabilities to the next level beyond just maritime dominion awareness, which has been a traditional focus with Task Force 59. We have proven these unmanned platforms can enhance fleet lethality. In doing so, we are strengthening regional maritime security and enhancing deterrence against maligned activity. But man, so they're saying because they have the one up on everybody, they can keep peace on the earth. No, they can keep their agenda going and keep everybody else oppressed. All right, it says you shouldn't have to have a gun to keep peace. You know, it says this is the second time in as many months that the Navy has successfully demonstrated such capabilities, Cooper said in September. Several unmanned aquatic and aerial vehicles were able to track Iranian Navy and Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy ships and small boats over the course of several days while they carried out routine patrols in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Cooper said 12 different unmanned platforms were integrated with manned ships for this exercise. All right. So, man, this is beautiful, man, because it's going to be some hellacious shit going on when Yahweh Shah shows up. And you best believe Yahweh Shemiel Shah is going to have Esau ramped up with hella AI technology because he's going to have to go up against Yahweh Shai and the holy angels. And he wants the devil to really think that he can win. You know? But he's not. But the Lord has him so baffled that the devil really thinks that he can overcome the saints. But this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and his angels fought against his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. All right. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out of the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Right, so that's ultimately what's going to happen. So there's going to be some fighting going on in the space, aerial combat with the chariots and whatever Esau got going on. You know, drones flying everywhere, AI technology trying to come up against the holy angels. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai. These are the things that are going to be going on. So best believe, just like how he hardened Pharaoh's heart, just like how he had when Moses was doing miracles in Egypt, he had Pharaoh's musicians doing the same thing. So he's going to have Esau like really, really, really pumped up and with his chest sticking out so he could just cave his chest in. All right. And this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22. And it says, the sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Right. And that's how people are gonna that's how wrapped up America's military is gonna be. Like, how in the hell did this happen? That's how people are gonna see. That's how people are gonna see it. You know? It says verse 24, I have laid a snare for you, and thou was also taken. Right. All right, so while Esau out here creating the weapons of mass destruction, ultimately he's the weapon of mass destruction that's going to end up destroying the soul. It says, and thou was not aware, thou art found also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Right. You know, it says, the Lord has opened his armory and has brought forth the weapons of his indignation. So the Lord is bringing forth all these weapons, right, for his indignation. All these nuclear weapons that's on the earth, the Lord is going to make sure they get shot off and get used and hit their marks. It says, and for this is the work of the Lord of hosts. And that word host means army in the land of Chaldea, right? So ultimately, all these technologies that America's trying to get the one up on everybody with, it's ultimately going to bear witness against them and lead them to their own destruction, right? So that's the snare, all right? That nuclear fire is the snare that Yahweh Shem Shai laid down for this devil, man. You know, so he that lived with the sword must die by the sword. You introduce the world to nuclear warfare, now that's how you must depart, you know? And the Lord's setting up this whole thing. All right, Lord, willing this lesson to edify and serve his purpose with that, like Sekah Halayim, like Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakah Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.